Your service dog has been taught the positional command center. This skill is useful in situations where you wish to extend your personal space to bring yourself some comfort. Perhaps someone is standing too close to you and you wish to create more of a barrier. With a little more breathing room, you may find a reduction of stress. Here's a brief clip of what this looks like in action.
Center. Stay.
Beautiful. Oh yeah.
Heel. Yes.
Now let's talk more about what this command looks like. A positional command means the dog is asked to move to a specific spot in relation to you. When the center command is given, the dog will move to stand perpendicular across the front of your body. The dog should maintain this position if someone approaches and throughout a conversation. The dog can serve as an anchor by holding the center position even when you take a step backwards to provide yourself more space. Here are two pictures to show you where the dog should be in relation to your body. To begin, start from your normal working position. For the purpose of this video, we will use heel position. Your leash should be in your left hand with the loop around your left thumb. Remember, the leash should create a J shape when given enough slack. Use your command sequence to get your dog's attention. Sylvester. Yes. Slide your treat pouch onto your right hip and slightly widen your stance. Then give the verbal command center while looking where you want the dog to land in front of your body. The dog will move from their working position to stand perpendicular in front of you. When starting from heel position, ideally, the dog will land so that their collar is even with your right leg. Mark with a yes. Reach into the treat pouch with your right hand and reward with food. Yes. Tell your dog, stay, to keep the dog in this position for a few seconds. This is how we begin to build in duration. Give the dog the heel command. Your dog will walk backwards to achieve this step. Once in heel position, reinforce them with verbal praise and repeat the process again from the beginning. Please note, you can do this a few times in a row to ensure the dog is understanding the command, but don't practice more than 3 times or we run the risk of the dog becoming bored of the game. We want to keep this command exciting. Since this is your first session on center with your new dog, we will be keeping the treat pouch on your opposite hip. However, this is only temporary and will not be needed further on. If when you give the command, your dog does not align with your right knee, you can try using a hand target to ensure the proper positioning. This is something you will not always need, but it helps to strengthen the skill with a new handler. To use this, follow these steps. Begin with the dog in normal working position. Use your command sequence to gain your dog's attention. Slide your treat pouch onto your right hip. Hold your right hand about a foot past your right knee with an open palm. Give the verbal command, center. The dog will move towards your open hand and touch it with their nose. Once the dog makes contact, mark yes and feed. After you have brought the dog back into heel, you can repeat these steps again. After a few repetitions, you can return to using only the center verbal command without the hand target as an assist. Then, keep your treat pouch on your left hip. Here's a great example of a hand target in action. Working on building duration to this skill is important. Duration is increasing the amount of time the dog stays in position. We begin to build duration by using the stay command once the dog is in center position. To do this, take the following steps. Start with the dog in normal working position. Give the verbal command, center. Once the dog moves into the center position, instead of immediately marking, give the dog the stay command and take one step backwards from the dog. Wait for a second. The dog should maintain their position with still feet and no fidgeting. If the dog maintains their position after this short time, mark yes and step forward to deliver your food reward with the dog remaining in the center position. Give the dog the stay command and step backwards again. This time, you'll increase your interval by a few seconds. Step forward towards the dog and give the dog the heel command. Heel. Once the dog has backed into the heel position, verbally reinforce. To progress this skill, increase the intervals by a few seconds more each time. Look at those still feet. Some key things to build duration are that it can be helpful to throw in an easy win sometimes. If you did your longest duration of practice the last time, throw in a short duration before progressing the duration again. Make sure also that the dog is engaged with the session by keeping your training session to no more than 5 minutes. Once your dog is performing solidly with this behavior, keep the treat pouch on your normal working side. When the dog reaches the center position, remind them to stay and provide verbal praise. When you are finished with the behavior, have the dog return to heel. Mark yes and reinforce the dog for completing the whole process. Yes. Wow, good boy. If your dog is struggling with duration, which could mean moving out of position and not maintaining still feet, there are a few things to consider. 1. Are you working in a new environment or with increased distraction? 2. Did you move too quickly in building some of the repetitions? 3. How long has the session been going on? Since we are progressing skills, taking small steps allows the dog to be successful and strengthen the behavior. Another way to progress the behavior is by adding distractions. Distractions could include people, other dogs, or performing the behavior in a new environment. As you add in distractions, it's important to remember that you are changing the criteria for the dog. You are now expecting them to perform behaviors in a new way, which may be a new experience. So we want to take things slow and go back a few steps to lower expectations. In practice, you will shorten your duration of the command as the distraction or new environment is presented. As you gain experiences as a team, you will be able to rebuild the duration. Watch this short clip for an example of adding in distraction.
Center. Stay. Heel. Yes.
Depending on the type of distraction, you may want to start with a person who is more familiar to the dog, such as a friend or spouse, area they've been to before, and keep the session short to ensure the dog isn't too overwhelmed with the new rules of the game. You'll know it's too overwhelming if the dog is showing signs of stress, moving out of position, or has turned their attention away from you. Let's take a look at a session with a too high level of distraction.
Center. Stay. Wow, what a good boy you have. How do I get one of these?
Uh-oh. Plants. Let's try again.
As you can see, The distraction level was too high and caused the dog to move out of position.
Center. Stay. Good boy. Hi, can I say hi to your dog? He is so cute. Oh, I think this might be too high a level of distraction. Clancy. Yes. Heel. All right, can you do the same thing but one step backwards?
What the handler did there was instruct the distraction in a way that sets her own dog up for success. If you are struggling with your dog's distractibility, here are a few tips to assist and get the session back on track. Before attempting the center behavior again, regain your dog's attention. You can do this by playing the name game or giving the dog some basic obedience commands to return to their strong foundational skills. It may also be that the distraction is too tempting for the dog, so you may want to walk a short distance away from the distraction to assist with regaining your dog's attention. You may also want to ask yourself the following questions. Have you increased your criteria too quickly? You may want to start at a lower distraction level. What are the more difficult distractions that my dog struggles with? You'll want to work up to these, especially slowly and with small steps. Once things are going well, some ways you can level up include giving the command in a more distractible area, such as a busy pedestrian or animal environment. It can also include adding distractions like toys or food to the ground or practicing with unfamiliar people approaching in public. You may also want to up the ante by starting the exercise with the dog in the heel position and asking them to move into the center position with the distraction already present. As you can see in this clip, the dog is maintaining his attention on the handler and does not break positioning to engage with the distraction. One area you may struggle with in regard to center is giving the center verbal command and having the dog offer the turn behavior. This is a common issue and may occur because the verbal commands sound similar to the dog. You can troubleshoot this by doing the following. First, you can remove the T sound in center to make the command sound more like center. This will help the dog distinguish between the two. You can also look in the direction you want the dog to land. For center, this means looking towards your right leg. You can also slightly widen your stance, as you'll see in the following video clip.
Center. Stay. Heel. Yes.
To continue to keep the dog engaged and thinking, you can also practice this command within an obedience session. This would include giving the command amongst other behaviors, varying the commands and pattern each time. Here is a video of what this looks like in action. Sylvester. Yes. Sit. Yes. Down. Yes. Stand. Yes. Center. Stay. Good boy. Good job. Good job. Heel. Yes. Sit. Your new service dog will quickly become the center of your life. By following these steps and tips, you'll ensure you keep your skills sharp and your relationship strong.